What up, guys? Yeah, today I have my very first pumpkin beer of 2019, and that is Brooklyn Brand's Post Road Pumpkin Ale. I bought this back when I started getting into the Oktoberfest stuff, and I wanted to focus on the Oktoberfest, so I was like, I'll wait on this, but now is the time. So yeah, this is Brooklyn Brewery. They're on top of that the pumpkin beer. This was probably came out in late August, and 'tis the season of pumpkin everything. You're gonna have pumpkin beers all the way to Christmas. So I hope you're prepared. But let's crack this open. Get it pouring. So, one, do you guys drink pumpkin beer? I know that some people are very, very anti-pumpkin beer for whatever reason. I think probably it's just because it's so over the top. I mean, it really hits hard. It's not like a slow trickle. It's just boom, 50 gazillion pumpkin beers. But I'm fine with it. I enjoy it if it's done well. I like a good pumpkin beer. If it's a solid pumpkin flavor, not too chemically. And if it's done right, it can be very refreshing. So when you guys do pumpkin beers, what kind of style do you like it as? Do you like a pumpkin ale? Do you like it more as like a wheat beer with the pumpkin elements? I think a wheat beer kind of lends itself very nicely to pumpkin. I think those two go very well together. I have to double check. I believe I have done the Blue Moon pumpkin. I feel like that one's pretty good. You can't really go wrong with that. Or do you like something darker? Do you like a stout pumpkin or whatever? What kind of pumpkin beers do you guys usually go for? Let me know. I'd like to know, so then I can try to focus on which pumpkin beers to go next, because this will not be the last pumpkin beer I do for 2019. Anyways, let's get in the review, get into the smell. You do get a little pumpkin, but it's more like almost like a pumpkin seasoned spice to it. Not necessarily just like a pumpkin pie. It's more of like the spice, the pumpkin spice that you can get. Maybe a subtle hint of cinnamon. And yeah, just kind of like a standard ale, like nothing very... Nothing crazy with the ale. It's kind of very straightforward, which I think is good if you want the pumpkin to be prominent. It kind of really depends. Do you want your pumpkin to just kind of be a background player, or do you want it to be center stage? Like, boom, check me out. I like when they add like cinnamon and other stuff to it. I like when the breweries fully embrace the time of year, because that's kind of what I'm looking for with like a pumpkin beer or a holiday beer. I like getting that kind of season spice in it, because if you're not adding that season, I feel like I can just get that beer any other time of the year. I want to taste the season. Of course, sometimes it feels like the pumpkin beer season is like the longest beer season, but it gives you plenty of time to find one that's good. But I'm intrigued. I get some pumpkin. I get some... initially I said cinnamon, but it's almost more like a clovey kind of thing. Now, I'm getting more clove now that's opening up more than cinnamon. Either way, I'm enjoying it. I think it smells like a good, just seasonal pumpkin holiday beer. I'm going to recommend it for that. Now let's get into the taste. Alright, you have a little bit of pumpkin. It's not overpowering. If you're somebody that you just want like a hint of pumpkin, but you find some beers are just too over the top with it, I think you'll like this. It's just subtle enough so you know the pumpkin's there, but it's not crazy. It tastes more like a pumpkin spice seasoning added more than pumpkin itself, or more than pumpkin extract, more than chemical pumpkin. It tastes more like a spiced, the pumpkin seasoning was added to it. It does taste also like there's a very, very subtle hint of clove. just a little bit. But pumpkin and clove go pretty well together, that they kind of enhance each other at sometimes. So I feel like those two are in here. Again, both, even though I can kind of taste both of them, it's very subtle. It doesn't overpower, so you still get the beer taste. This, it's just like kind of sprinkled it over the top. But now you just have kind of like a standard ale. There's nothing very special about the ale. It's kind of lighter. You get a little bit of a nuttiness to it. A very subtle bitterness. Not much. But dog's starting to bark at some neighbors. I mean, there's really not a lot going on. It's a kind of like the ale is almost very stripped away of any kind of complexity. There's not a lot going on with it. It's like they wanted to take the most basic ale without anything crazy going on. And like the same amount of hops and whatever. Like everything's kind of neutralizes itself, just so you have a very standard bare bones ale. And they added the pumpkin and clove seasoning or whatever, the spices. Just give it just enough to be like, this is a pumpkin beer that anybody could enjoy. And I feel like this is a good beer if you're going to a fall party, a Halloween party, any kind of party up through the next 2 months. I feel like this is a beer you can get that everybody will be on board for. There's a little bit of pumpkin, so you know it's the season. It doesn't go over. It's not overpowering, so the people that don't like the crazy pumpkin will still be on board. But it's enough to make the people that want pumpkin happy, and it's a nice, happy medium. I feel like more could be done with it, but it's kind of like it's a very safe pumpkin beer. You can't go wrong with it. It almost tastes like. It could almost be like I can see Sam Adams making a pumpkin beer like this. Sam Adams, I feel like they play a lot of the beers a little safer. You know, you want a large group of people to like your beer, or to be able to be like, okay, yeah, I could do that. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I'm down with it. That's what this one kind of reminds me of. It's almost like Sam Adams does pumpkin beer. I don't remember if Sam Adams really does pumpkin beer. I haven't seen any ads for it yet, but they're really heavy pushing the Oktoberfest beers. So, if you guys wait a few more weeks, you'll be able to get the Oktoberfest beer for dirt cheap. One thing I found is that Sam Adams, when they switch the season, you can usually get a 4 or 6-pack for like $4. Like, it's cheap. But so I'm not sure if they make a pumpkin beer. They probably do. But this is a safe pumpkin beer to go for. I'm going to stick to my guns and say that so far, or not so far, but I feel like wheat beers, wheat kind of takes the pumpkin taste a little better than necessarily an ale. I think the natural taste of a wheat beer works better, but this is very safe pumpkin beer. But I'll recommend it on taste. You can't really go wrong. It's not terrible. It's fine. So I'll recommend it on taste. All right, next category is value price, and it's not crazy. It's what you'd pay for any other Brooklyn brewery seasonal beer. It's gonna be under $2. It's not a bad price, or right around $2 for single. So it's not bad. Especially if you're going to get a beer that's going to satisfy everybody during your holiday party or whatever. Absolutely. This is also one of those beers that you could do if you're doing like one of those pumpkin kegs where you pour all the beer into the pumpkin, and you kind of put the spout into it and pour it. I think this beer would work really well with it because there's not a ton of pumpkin flavor in it already. Some other beers have a lot of pumpkin flavor to it, and if you put those into the pumpkin, it's almost too much. So this could use a little bit more pumpkin and not be like over the top. So this would be if you do that, if you do that kind of thing for a party, get this thing. It's not too expensive, and it would work for that. So I'll recommend it for the value for price. Distinction. How distinct is it? And it's a pumpkin beer. There's really nothing. It's nothing very special about it. It's very straightforward. It's basic. It's I feel like basic and pumpkin spice, they just seem to go together. I don't know, but it's a basic pumpkin beer. There's nothing crazy about it. In terms of distinction, there's really nothing that's kind of standing out. It's you're gonna look at this and see pumpkin ale, and you're gonna have a thought of what it's gonna taste like, and chances are that's exactly what it's gonna taste like. So there's really nothing. It's straightforward, but I'll give it a half on distinction. It tastes like pumpkin. It doesn't taste chemically, which is my big thing. I don't like that fake chemical anything. Stay away from that. But it's a safe pumpkin beer, so I'll give it a half on distinction. Okay, next category is drinkability, and let's see, it is 5% ABV. Okay, it does say ale brewed with pumpkin and spices, so there you go. I hadn't read that yet, but all right. Just backing me up. I knew it was spices, but it's 5%. It doesn't taste like it's too. It doesn't taste high. It doesn't taste low. It tastes just like a fine beer that you can enjoy throughout the evening. It drinks fine. This wouldn't be a bad beer to drink, you know, if you're out by a campfire for the fall, or you're tailgating and you just want a little more taste besides the normal thing. Actually, if I'm tailgating, then I'm going to be drinking a considerable amount. I probably won't go for the pumpkin thing. I think the pumpkin would eventually just get kind of wear on me. Like, oh, I need something else. But I mean, it's fine. Drinkability is fine. You shouldn't have any problem with it. So yeah, I'll recommend drinkability. It's pretty straightforward. And all right, last category is would I buy it again? And probably not. Nothing against it. It's a very safe pumpkin beer, but I am not looking to put on any pumpkin parties or holiday parties or anything like that for right now. And honestly, when I go to a holiday party, I really don't give a rat's ass what everyone else likes. I'm going to bring what my favorite beer is, and chances are that one's going to be better than whatever they drink anyways. So I'm not thinking out for them, I'm thinking for myself, and I'm going to bring which beer I like the best. And if they don't like it, that's okay, it's more for me. So yeah, you know, it's safe. If you're looking for a safe, easy drinking, something that everyone's gonna like, pumpkin beer, like you're putting it on yourself, you need a large mass quantity and you don't want to pay a lot, this one will work just fine for you. For my needs, probably not. I probably won't be buying it again. It's fine. I won't say no to it if it's offered to me, but I think I'll probably find other pumpkin beers that I'll like better. But alright, that is the review of Brooklyn brand Post Road Pumpkin Ale. What do you think? Have you had this one yet? What is your favorite pumpkin beer? Do you like pumpkin beers, or is it like too much? Are you the kind of person that hates pumpkin beer? Because, you know, there's some people that just hate pumpkin beer. But let me know all the good stuff in the comments. Like, subscribe, do all that fancy stuff and whatever. And I'll catch you all later. So for myself and Brooklyn Road Brewery Pumpkin Ale, Post Road Pumpkin Ale, take it easy.